Hello, everyone. Today we shall be exploring about child development. Now, as teachers, we don't just deliver content, do we? We work with children who are constantly growing and changing. So, understanding child development would help us create lessons that will meet the students where they are. Think about it. A 4-year-old who can't yet share toys isn't being naughty. They are simply still developing socially. A 7-year-old struggling with fractions may not be weak in maths, they might not yet be cognitively ready for that concept. So, studying child development gives us the tools to set realistic expectations for learners, to adjust our teaching strategies, to identify whether a learning issue is due to the ability, environment, or emotional factors for that matter. It would help us to provide the right kind of support or scaffolding so the students can thrive. At the heart of it, knowing child development helps us answer three key questions. Who am I teaching? What do they already know? And how much more are they ready to learn? So, when we can answer these questions, our teaching not just becomes effective, but also meaningful. Now, to understand this, first let us clear up a common confusion: growth and development. Although they are closely related, I would say interdependent and interrelated, they are not the same. Growth is physical, measurable, like a child's height, weight, shoe size. Development, on the other hand, is about function, language, thinking, emotion, social skills. So you see, growth is a quantitative quality as it can be measured, whereas development is a qualitative one. It cannot be measured. Growth would stop or it would rather slow down after maturity, whereas development is a lifelong process and continues throughout life. Growth is physical, structural, development, a small amount of physical, little mental, emotional, social. Growth, I would say an example would be, let's say, he has grown 5 centimeters taller since last summer. Whereas in development, I would say her writing skills have developed so much this year. So you notice that they, although interrelated, they are not the same. For example, a poor physical growth due to maybe malnutrition would also slow down the cognitive development. So this is how they are interdependent also. So both are continuous processes as they happen progressively over time. Both are influenced by genetics, environment, nutrition, and experiences. Both, as I already mentioned, interrelated as each supports the other. And most importantly, both aim towards a child's overall maturity and adjustment in life. So Piaget gave a thinking theory which evolved around 4 stages. He was a Swiss psychologist, so he described children as little scientists because he believed that they are actively building knowledge by exploring their environment. So the 4 stages, as I mentioned, are sensory motor from birth to 2 years, pre-operational ages from 2 to 7 years, concrete operational, they are from ages 7 to 11, and formal operational, which is around 12 onwards. So each stage has its own way of understanding the world. So coming to the first stage, the sensory motor stage. Here, the babies and toddlers learn through their senses and movements. So they shake rattles, they put objects in their mouth, drop things from their high chairs, all of this in a way of experimenting. So at first, they believe that if something disappears, it no longer exists. Like out of sight is out of mind. That's why peekaboo games are so exciting for them. But gradually, they develop what Piaget calls object permanence. Here, they develop the understanding that things do exist even when they are out of their sight. So, for us as teachers, we should provide rich sensory experiences for them to learn, such as sand play, water tubs, clay, colorful objects to touch and explore, different textured objects. And while we are showing these objects, we should also, talk about these objects so that they start connecting words to these objects and the world. Next, we come to the pre-operational stage, which is between 2 to 7 years. So over here, from age 2 to 7, the language skills explode. However, thinking is still egocentric. So when they look at a picture, they might assume that you also see exactly what they see. And they also struggle with conservation. So if you pour the same amount of water in a taller glass, they'll insist that the taller glass has more water. So what does it mean for us as teachers? We should keep it concrete. So here we should give them over here. I forgot to mention that they also have a lot of imagination. So they have these imaginary plays and pretend plays, hands-on activities. So here storytelling, drama, role plays play a very important teaching role. And then we come to the concrete operational stage. Here, by the time the children are 7 to 11, their thinking becomes logical. So if they so now they understand that even if I flatten a ball of clay, it is still the same amount. Here they can now start solving maths problems a little more systematically. They can classify and sort objects, and they are slightly less egocentric than before. So in this, we as teachers could bring in experiments, manipulatives, even real life examples. So practical maths with science and science experiments with measuring cups, all these are perfect for this stage. So abstractions, not quite yet. So we should just keep it hands-on. Finally, from 12 onward, the students enter the formal operational stage, and here they think abstractly, hypothetically. So now they can imagine some test hypothesis. They can imagine different outcomes from these different scenarios. So, and they start thinking logically. So this is when we can use debates, scientific experiments, discussions. All these become valuable and age appropriate. So as teachers, we can encourage them to take part in debates. We can encourage them to do quizzes, hypothesize, reflect upon their own thinking also, in fact. So in conclusion, child development helps us set realistic expectations and support learners effectively. Growth, physical and measurable, while development is functional and lifelong. For teachers, the practical takeaway is always match our teaching strategies to the student's developmental level. We can use play scenarios and sensory activities with younger learners and projects with adolescents. And so when we teach with the development in mind, we meet the students where they are and help them take the next step forward. Thank you.